Spanish vacations mean sizzling heat and cooling water, pools by the beach, and in the city center.
It's nice to relax by the pool in the afternoon.
Tourism consumes vast amounts of water, while locals live with water rationing.
Tourists use on average 3 to 5 times more water than Barcelona residents.
Agriculture also requires huge amounts of water. Wells continuously pump groundwater.
We're killing the planet, destroying everything.
Spain's tourism and agricultural sectors are growing, but some regions have not seen rain in 6 months. The longest drought in decades. Some lagoons have already dried up.
This has become a desert. We can deny it, we can look away, but it's obvious.
Barcelona, with 27 million annual visitors, no other city in Spain attracts more tourists. On our tour of the city, we noticed that the fountains, so typical of Barcelona, are dry, one sign of the dramatic water shortage. The regional government shut them off in March. With temperatures well above 30 degrees Celsius, people really miss the cooling fountains.
There's nothing sadder than a fountain without water.
Okay. So you don't like it like that?
No!
We want water running.
Water.
A sad sight, but a necessary measure, and tourists should help save water too. At the Yurban Hotel, Norma Galofré Alavedra is campaigning for shorter showers.
Well, here we explain about the challenge, 4-minute shower, and this is a simple sun watch. Why 4 minutes? Because the World Health Organization says that the media of a shower is 10 minutes and we waste 200 liters. And then this game of this challenge of 4 minutes, it's only to waste 80 liters per shower. This is the action. And some of them said, I'm able to make up my shower in 2 minutes. So it's great, no?
This year, when it comes to saving water, every effort counts. We meet Harry Schön from Frankfurt, drinking his morning coffee on the hotel's roof deck. He sees the 4-minute shower as a good challenge.
I get myself wet under the shower and then turn off the water. Soap myself once or twice, but use less than 4 minutes of water in total. I'm in the shower for 5-6 minutes, but I only run the water for about 2, so I've already won this challenge.
Conserving water in the shower, yes, but giving up the rooftop pool, not so much.
Sure, if there's no other way, but that definitely reduces the attractiveness. Without a pool, it looks very dull.
Barcelona's beach promenade is about a half-hour away. It's mostly locals who come here. This summer, they have to do without the beach showers. They've been shut off.
The beach is great, but the shower should be working so we can enjoy it even more.
The Catalan authorities ordered the shutdown.
They haven't worked for a few weeks, which is a bit annoying.
The regulations on this beach are strict. No water, not even for a quick foot rinse.
When I leave the beach, it's really unpleasant. I'm covered in sand and can't get it off, and I have to go home like that.
Most tourists see none of this. They tend to stick to the center, looking for a big city experience. So it's the locals, not the tourists, who have to do without. We meet Dante Maschio Gastelars. He grew up in Barcelona and finds the situation unfair.
Tourists use on average 3 to 5 times more water than Barcelona residents. The people here are unhappy because nothing ever changes. We have to cut back on water at home. They were even talking about rationing water in September. But they never confront the real problem, that in summer, the population doubles or triples with tourists, and water consumption explodes.
Dante shows us El Born, an old town neighborhood, charming streets and no big hotels. But even here, there are now more tourists than locals. The doorbells bear numbers, not names. The district's residents have been replaced by Airbnb tourists who pay higher rent. Exactly how many vacationers come is hard to say because many of the apartments are not officially registered. But there are more every year, and water is even scarcer.
We're asking for a moratorium on tourist numbers. We can't have cruise ships continuing to come and a new airport runway being built when there's not enough water. It has to be regulated.
During our tour, we find graffiti protesting over tourism. It seems Dante is not alone in his wishes. For locals, daily water consumption has been restricted since March, and summer is far from over. We are now on the way to the Sau Reservoir in Catalonia. This reservoir provides drinking water for the entire region, including Barcelona. The region's water scarcity is clearly visible here. This church was submerged when the dam was built in the 1960s. Now, with the lack of rain, it has re-emerged. Jaume Morain and Francesc Colom have come to see it. They played here as children before the dam was built. Their childhood church has suddenly reappeared.
When the reservoir is more than half full, you can't stand here. The water reaches higher than the tower. You can only see the pyramid on top of the tower, nothing more. Just water.
Old film footage shows how the reservoir is supposed to look. An incredible reunion, but one that also worries them.
Una sensación de un problema muy grande, porque además toda Barcelona y el área metropolitana. I see a huge problem. Barcelona and the entire region depend on the drinking water from this reservoir. If we go for another 5 or 6 months without rain, Barcelona and many other places are going to have big problems.
Will the Sau Church and its 23-meter tower ever disappear below the water's surface again? Enrique Dosta has come to the lake to talk with us. He operated a boat rental company until last year. The pier where his boat docked was right here.
Pues triste.
So, I'm sad.
Sí, estoy triste, realmente. Estoy triste. Sí, porque hoy tendríamos que tener hamacas.
There should be deck chairs here, and umbrellas, people swimming, dogs running on the shore, boats sailing. Someone should be coming back from water skiing. People should be sunbathing. It's sad. The life that was here is gone.
La vida normal que hay en esta época no está.
Enrique rented out a wide variety of boats, and the business ran successfully for 24 years. But because the reservoir was just 6% full this spring, the authorities informed him that boating was too dangerous. His business was not allowed to operate.
Ha frustrado.
Frustrating.
Una frustración.
You really feel powerless.
Es realmente que no tienes, es una impotencia.
The authorities just tell you to do something else, just like that, without feeling.
Sí, fríamente es esto.
Like they don't care about us.
Es como si no nos quisieran.
Leaving the lake, we see the current water level marked on the wall of the dam. The reservoir is more than 20 meters below capacity. Lloret de Mar also depends on the Sau Reservoir. The town has just 39,000 inhabitants. But 1 million tourists join them every year, placing an enormous strain on the water supply. Party circuit tourists frequent the Hotel Samba, like Glenn and Johan from Amsterdam. It's 2 in the afternoon, and they're among the first here, recovering from last night's party.
I like it here. The weather is nice. It's a nice hotel. Girls are good. And yeah, Spain is a beautiful country, to be honest.
The hotel has 434 rooms, but the real highlight is in the basement. Laura Perez, the hotel's environmental manager, explains that this machine collects the tourists' shower water.
The water goes through this filter where it's cleaned, then runs into a central tank where we treat it with chlorine. Then the clean water is pumped through these pipes, back up into the apartments and rooms.
The system was a novelty when it went into operation in 1998. They're still proud of it today.
We still can't simply produce water, so if we don't use it carefully and treat it, we will eventually run out.
Over 15 years, the hotel has saved 215 million liters of fresh water by flushing the toilets with treated water. That is as much as 1,000 families use in a year. Still, water savings cannot interfere with vacation fun. The pool's water level has been lowered by 20 centimeters, but no one here wants to empty the pool completely.
Of course, you can send people to the beach, but we don't have to close the pool because the water stays in it all year. It's filtered and chlorinated regularly, but not refilled.
That calculation fails to include the many hundreds of liters of water that evaporate from the pool every day. We will see this again and again on our trip. At the Lloret de Mar City Hall, we want to know whether voluntary water saving is enough or if official restrictions are needed. But the person in charge has no time for us today. The next morning, he agrees to talk with us via Zoom. Carles Gil tells us that in the spring, the Catalan regional government banned the filling of vacation home pools.
The pools stayed empty and nerves were frayed. It was so extreme that people tried to fill their pools with seawater or to bring water with tankers from other countries, from France. It's hard for the tourism sector. Imagine the season starting without water for the pools.
Carles Gil thinks a ban like that one is overkill. After all, tourism isn't the biggest water consumer out there.
It's well known that agriculture consumes the most water in Spain. So measures should be taken to better use water resources. not only in tourism, but in agriculture too.
We want to take a first-hand look at agricultural water use. We leave Catalonia on the high-speed train, bound for the province of Almería. As we travel, the landscape becomes noticeably drier. The world's largest collection of greenhouses is here, in one of Europe's driest regions. Each year, more than 2.5 million tons of produce are grown here, under plastic roofs, covering some 40,000 hectares, for export throughout Europe. Ever deeper wells have to be dug to keep this massive project going. In some places, the groundwater has already fallen below sea level, and the sea of plastic continues to spread. Manuel Mata is a photographer here. His favorite subject is Almería's natural beauty.
I made my name as a photographer here. Here in El Cabo, I can express my creativity in nature. I love this place. You've seen the photos, it's amazing.
Manuel has printed his best photos on magnets, which he sells to tourist shops. At least he tries to. But it's not that easy. Deterred by the nearby plastic greenhouses, few tourists come to the region. The plastic protects the plants from wind and the precious water from evaporation. But sometimes the wind dislodges the giant plastic tarps, blowing them across the land.
We're killing the planet, destroying everything. We have no regard for anything.
Now Manuel is using his photography to draw attention to the problem. He has placed vacationers on piles of trash to show that Almería is driving off potential tourists.
Complaining that things aren't being done right isn't enough. To raise awareness, you have to do something special.
Some 60,000 people here rely on greenhouse farming for their living. So Manuel is almost alone in his battle against plastic. Almost. In the middle of this hot, dry sea of plastic, we discover a small oasis. Planting everything himself, Manuel Sánchez Robles has created a botanical island.
This grew out of the need for a refuge in this arid environment. The idea was to create a beautiful place, an oasis in the dryness, in the sea of plastic. A place that is fresh and beautiful and offers a home to native plants and animals.
The trees and palms provide natural protection from the strong winds. No need for plastic sheets. The plants also help retain moisture in the garden. It's 5 degrees cooler here than outside, so watering needs are greatly reduced too.
The arrangement of plants, combining different species with well-thought-out irrigation methods, keep water consumption lower. Normal agricultural land, such as a meadow with grasses, needs about 2,500 to 3,000 liters of water per year. We only use about a third of that.
He leads school tours through his garden whenever he can. Tourists also come by from time to time, but Manuel's Garden is still an insider tip. We leave this small paradise and travel further south. Our destination is a much larger nature preserve. It's also surrounded by greenhouses that consume too much water. Donana National Park is a 54,000-hectare nature preserve and a refuge for endangered bird species and wild horses. Until recently, the Donana was Spain's most important wetland, but now it's threatened by agriculture. Juan Romero, an environmentalist with Ecologists in Action, tells us there are industrial strawberry plantations inside the nature preserve.
We're here, right here. And this whole area is strawberry plantations, some legal, some not.
Juan shows us the illegal plantations.
See how the farm has taken over these pine woods, left and right?
The water for the strawberries comes from illegal wells. Juan wants to show us one. We have to film very quickly because the farmers who are siphoning off the water could appear at any moment. When we arrive, we see a massive brick well. How can the authorities not know about this?
Why do these wells exist? Because the administration has allowed them to be built. Because agriculture is the biggest industry. This one brings in more than 1.5 billion euros, just for the 5 Donana communities. 1.5 billion is a lot of money. Nobody here questions this kind of agriculture.
There are hundreds of such wells pumping out the groundwater and drying out the Donana preserve. Juan is one of the few who keeps drawing attention to it, so he has many enemies among the farmers.
A colleague in Ecologists in Action has been threatened. They transferred him to work somewhere else because of it. Personally, I'm not afraid. I believe the truth will set us free.
The strawberries and blueberries grown here end up in German and other European supermarkets. Juan wants to show us just how much water they need.
We'll go in there. You're supposed to ask permission, but they don't want to be filmed. But if we go along here, where they can't see us, you can film. Quick. We'll get out here and have a quick look around.
The illegally pumped water comes to this pond, where it's distributed to the surrounding fields. Juan prefers to stay by the car. He seems nervous, but also angry.
They take the water without a meter, for free. Not even the administration knows how much water they take.
Donana National Park's main lagoon still has water. Many flamingos have settled here, but Juan is very worried.
The heart of the Donana is back there. It's already completely dry. For the last 4 years, only 15–20% has been flooded. In the last 2 years, the Donana has gone from a wetland to a dryland.
Here the lagoon still looks idyllic. Conservationists like Juan aren't the only ones drawn to it. Every year, 400,000 visitors come to see the preserve and provide a living for hundreds of locals. Vincent and Gemma have come from Valencia with their daughters for a guided tour.
We wanted to see it before it suffers any more damage, because it's getting worse and worse.
The tour begins. The first stop is just around the corner. Manuel shows them the flamingos.
Too bad we can't take a picture of them.
You can. Put your phone up to the lens.
Such snapshots make great souvenirs. Maria and her sister are thrilled.
Oh, cool.
When I was a kid, I thought flamingos couldn't fly, that they could only run with their long legs.
We head deep into the park, where the Iberian lynx and wild horses roam. We are not allowed to take the camera because the Andalusian regional government has not permitted us to film. Perhaps because they do not want to publicize this. Satellite images show clearly how much the area has already dried out. Instead, we drive to a campsite about 10 minutes away, where we meet Bettina from Dieburg. She's camping in her pop-top van in 38-degree weather. How can she stand it?
Also ich habe einfach das aufgelassen und habe hier so ein Tuch hingemacht mit Magneten. Das da. Na, habe ich einfach hier so
I just left this open and hung a sheet here with magnets. The ventilation was great. I even took the sleeping bag out of the tent at 4 or so because I was cold.
All without air conditioning. The pool is right next to her camping spot. Tourists are made to feel comfortable here too. Bettina knows how scarce the water is in the nearby park. But at the same time, she enjoys cooling off, especially now in the midday sun.
Of course, I'm ambivalent about it. I must admit a pool is nice. I've learned to appreciate it. But I really don't need it if the sea is nearby.
But the sea is a trek from here. In the afternoon, she sets off to hike the dunes without a tour guide. The temperature is still well over 30 degrees. Even the lizards are taking cover.
I'm afraid it's quite a long way. I don't know if I'm really up to it.
The view from up there is supposed to be tremendous. Vast swaths of untouched nature. But the hike through the hot sand is tough. After a good hour, Bettina has finally made it.
And how's the view?
Good. I like it a lot. It's just a bit hot and a lot of uphill. Not my strong points. But great view, beautiful nature, quiet, wonderful.
Wunderbar.
Gemma, Vincent, and their daughters have returned from their tour and are ending the evening with a beer.
It was wonderful.
Fantastic, really.
What animals did we see?
Birds, deer, cows, and kites.
We hoped to see a lynx, but no luck. But we'll come back to see it all again.
They still have their photos as souvenirs. On some, you can clearly see how dry the Donana has become. Next morning, we visit the Matalas tourist resort. It's like another world. You would never know that the national park and its water crisis are only 20 minutes away. Here, it's all about recreation and vacation fun. The showers on the beach are working, unlike in Barcelona. The resort was first built in the 1970s and now extends to the national park's buffer zone. Biologist Carmen Diaz-Paniagua is researching the development's effects on the park.
There's a lot of talk about how much water the farmers use, but there is no effort to reduce the water consumption at Matalas. But it's important. The beach visitors should know. So much water is consumed here, without people understanding what it means for the national park.
The researcher shows us that Matalas Cañas gets most of its water from 3 springs, the water of which is actually crucial for the lagoons.
When I look back, I feel like crying. It's just drying up. That's why I'm so discouraged. But we have to make people aware of the problem and try to find a solution.
She would like to see a different approach.
I'd like to see a completely sustainable complex, a continuation of the dunes, not hotel blocks with big swimming pools and lawns. But people don't think that way, and so interests collide.
Tourism is one of Spain's most important economic drivers, and Spain wants to keep it that way. That's one reason to make sure tourists feel the water shortage as little as possible. What about the water scarcity problem in the interior? We've heard about oleotourism, holiday trips centered around the olive. For this, we go to Jaén, one of the largest olive-growing regions in the world. They also market themselves to tourists.
Hello.
Hi.
Today, a tour group from the US has come to see the olive groves. Manuel Jiménez Molina owns the plantation. He conducts tours in addition to being a farmer. He also tries to raise awareness about conservation. He is convinced that everyone should cut back on water use.
With water consumption, farming has only one option left. We must find techniques that require less water. At the same time, we have to get tourists to use less water.
He tells visitors all about the olive.
Why we have picual?
What about black olives?
Don't exist the black and the green types. All are green that go black with the maturity process. The skin starts to go from green, dark green, start to go to light green, turn to yellowish color, red, purple color, and black.
These nets are spread on the ground at harvest time. Now visitors can try their hand at knocking the olives out of the trees.
And what is the big difference with the...
I'm getting some down. Look at that. I could be a real worker here. Look at this.
Okay.
Yes, it's very interesting. It's something I wouldn't normally do.
It's 42 degrees today. Even the olive trees are suffering and must be watered. Though the trees famously require very little water, the droughts in Spain have been growing increasingly severe for years. Stressed by the heat, the trees develop far fewer olives. The trees may survive, but the harvest greatly decreases.
We would have to sell the olive oil at 4 times the price. So the answer is yes, you could survive, but the consumer would have to pay for olive oil as if for a luxury product.
Large irrigation basins are now needed to supply the plantations. Groundwater is pumped up to fill them. But even this is becoming increasingly difficult. The levels in some wells have already dropped by 100 meters. After the tour, Manuel's shop offers oleotourists a wide variety of olive-based products, oils, chocolate, and cosmetics. The whole region lives from marketing olives. Cosmetic products in particular are used to attract tourists to the region. In the Balneario San Andres Spa Hotel, olive-based massage oil is the most widely used product.
Jaén is famous for its olive oil. It moistens the skin better than other creams. The hands glide better. It's very pleasant, both for the customers and for me.
The olive draws many spa tourists to the region.
Great. I really enjoyed it. Very relaxing.
After the massage, a dip in the hotel pool is particularly tempting for tourists in the country's interior. But at temperatures well above 40 degrees, up to 5,000 liters of water evaporate here in a single day. Water that could be put to good agricultural use. During the night, a thunderstorm brings a brief respite. It's actually raining for the first time in weeks. But after 15 minutes, it's all over. We continue to Marbella, a destination for well-heeled tourists with high standards. How are they dealing with the water shortage here? The beach showers are working. Official figures list 10,700 pools in the city. But the Costa del Sol is best known for its golf courses. We meet conservationist Javier de Luis on Mount Elveria, where he explains the problem with golf courses.
There are 22 golf courses in Marbella and 50 in all of Malaga province, one of the driest zones in the EU. If we had enough water resources, there would likely be no conflict with the golf courses. But there is very little water here.
He criticizes a lack of awareness that water must be conserved here.
If the golf courses only used treated water, it would be different. But they consume a huge amount of drinking water, which is actually needed by the people.
The Golf Hotels Association wants to show us a model project, the Finca Coticin, one of the most luxurious golf hotels on the Costa del Sol. While other golf courses are fined for illegal watering, everything here is said to be exemplary. We meet Ignacio Soto, the greenskeeper here.
We have in a drought period right now in Spain, and when you see a golf course like this, green, very green, wall to wall, you think you are doing a bad thing, but this is the opposite. I mean, we are reusing the water from the houses and from the villages.
Only treated water is used here. An especially hardy grass has been planted as well.
Some golf courses use very delicate grass in some areas, like the greens. But we use a more sustainable warm climate grass that's not harmed by the treated water. We're very happy with it.
The ball has to roll with little resistance on the green.
And this is the new variety, which is ultra dwarf Bermuda grass.
Ignacio is proud of the new grass.
So you have a look. It's very, very thin and very tiny. And very strong.
We cannot ask the golfers how they like the new grass. A club rule forbids us from speaking to them. But Ignacio sees no problem with watering the golf courses, as long as it's done with reclaimed water.
I'll say that we need more golf courses and more area to put the regenerated water on the place. The Costa del Sol is regenerating too much water and it's increasing. I can use as much as I want. I should reuse as much as I want, because otherwise it goes to the sea, which is not very good.
Is the water that the golf courses don't use just emptied into the sea? To find out, we visit a plant near Marbella. Here, wastewater is treated for reuse.
From here, it is distributed to the 20 golf courses connected to the treatment plant.
some 25 million liters per day. And at the end of the tour, our guide confirms that any leftover water ends up in the sea.
Aside from what the golf courses use, the water goes into the sea.
For Javier de Luis, this is a real scandal. The environmentalist says the water could be used for agriculture or drinking instead of for golf courses.
Firstly, we need to improve the water treatment quality. Elsewhere, like in Las Vegas, such water is even used for drinking. Spain is still a long way off from that. But there are many different sectors that could be completely supplied with this purified water.
If the water were actually treated to a higher quality, then strawberries and tomatoes could be irrigated here, and not just Bermuda grass. An hour's drive further north shows us how urgently such a change is needed. The Fuente de Piedra Lagoon is the driest place on our journey. This used to be a haven for flamingos, but few of them are left now. The wetland has dried up before, but never as badly as it has now.
This has become a desert. We can deny it, we can look away, but it's obvious.
Still, Javier Luis sees some hope in this catastrophe.
The drought is both a problem and an opportunity. It will force the politicians to act. We have to reduce water use in agriculture and tourism if we are to survive.
But time, like water, is running out.